very much, Speaker. My question as well is to the Premier. I can think of a billion reasons why Ontarians should be wary of your government's new gas tax for Toronto Transit. It's like a billion popping red flags. The people of this province have seen time and time again that this tired, old, Liberal government can't manage their money. They are tired of giving more to the provincial treasury. And that's because this government consistently finds ways to squander their hard-earned tax dollars at a rate of about $1 billion at a time. The Orange scandal, the gas plant scandal, the e-health scandal, the Hydro One scandal, the miscalculation of the hydro debt retirement charge are billion-dollar babies of Premier Mom and her predecessor, Premier Dad. Why is the Premier—
Stop the clock, please. I'm going to ask the member to address the Premier properly, as we do for everyone in this place. No first names, no personal names, titles only. Please finish. You have 10.
Why is the Premier asking Ontarians for more money when she can't manage the money that they send to Queen's Park now?
Thank you. Senator, please. Senator, please. Thank you. Premier.
Much, Mr. Speaker. So let's just— oh, sorry.
Again, and if I hear it again, I'll ask the person to withdraw or leave. It's enough. We're respectful in this place. Carry on.
Mr. Speaker, I have been called worse things than a mom. Mr. Speaker, it is extremely important to me that in answer to both the questions from the opposition and, in fact, from the questions from the third party, that it is clear that we have said that we are going to invest in transit. That is true. We're going to invest in infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. There have been a number of reports and a number of suggestions about how we might do that. We will bring a plan forward in our budget, Mr. Speaker. And I know that it's in the interest of the opposition to focus on one particular revenue tool and to ride that one. We have not made a decision, Mr. Speaker, on how we will put together that plan. That is the work that we are doing right now. But what I will say, Mr. Speaker, is we know very clearly that avoiding investment in infrastructure, as the opposition did in the past and would do again, is irresponsible, is not in the best interest of this province, either now or in the future.
Supplementary.
Speaker, I have to laugh at her. Just last week we had a sinkhole in Waller Street in Ottawa. That's the infrastructure of the province of Ontario. It's crumbling after a decade of decline. The Premier should admit that she does not have a plan. She just wants the money. Her claim for the people of Ottawa and London and Windsor and Sudbury to wait until her budget to tell them how much money they are going to have to send to Toronto for Toronto taxes is a stall tactic. This government is desperate for cash, and she doesn't care where it comes from. She just wants it to spend their money. They've had an inability to manage the economy, whether it's in the energy sector, whether it's jobs in the economy, or right now with the transit plan here in the GTA. This is the great province of Ontario. She has squandered the opportunity. Will the Premier admit she won't tell us what she's going to do with that transit tax because she doesn't know?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This is exactly the kind of rhetoric, Mr. Speaker, that has made it so impossible for governments to take action on important long-term issues for decades, Mr. Speaker. The fact is, we have been investing in transit since we came into office. We've been investing in infrastructure, and we exponentially have increased the number of dollars that we put into infrastructure compared to what their government did, Mr. Speaker. But the fact is, we are going to continue to make those investments. We are having an honest conversation with people across the province about the needs for infrastructure. That's why the $100 million infrastructure fund for roads and bridges for northern and rural communities, that's why that fund is in place, Mr. Speaker, because those communities said to us that they need predictable infrastructure funding. We need partnerships, municipal, federal, provincial, working together. That's the process we're working on, Mr. Speaker.
Premier, This Premier has had a decade to put forward a plan and to spend money wisely. She had an opportunity this past year to invest in the 401, but people were losing tires on the side of the road. She had an opportunity to deal with the sinkholes in Ottawa, but they're still happening. She had an opportunity to build subways in Toronto. She didn't do it. She wants the people's money, and she wants billions of it from all across this province for just downtown Toronto, but she doesn't know what she's going to use it for. And the other problem this Premier has is she is losing jobs, she is hiking energy rates, and she has no plan. She wants to cling to power. She has an opportunity this afternoon. She can support our motion. Will she do it? Yes or no?
Thank you. Please. Be seated, please. Thank you. Premier.
Speaker, I'm sorry, but the rant is just ridiculous. $500 million for the Queensway Carleton Hospital in the member's riding, Mr. Speaker. $2 billion a year. $2 billion a year for both the Southern and the Northern Highway programs, Mr. Speaker. It is just ridiculous to suggest that this government has not invested in infrastructure. We have done it year over year. We are going to continue to do it, Mr. Speaker. And the reality is that there was an infrastructure deficit when we came into office, Mr. Speaker, in 2003. And that infrastructure deficit had been built, had been left by the previous government. We've been climbing out of that hole, Mr. Speaker. We're going to keep climbing, and we're going to make those investments for the future.
Thank you. Be seated, please. Be seated.